I am the real Lisa Frank. I'm the man behind the Lisa Frank brand.
Lisa Frank, Glitter and Greed, First Impression Part 2.
Lisa Frank was the perfect persona, the queen of color, the American artist, the designer for little girls. But people don't know the real story. I am the real Lisa Frank. I'm the man behind the Lisa Frank brand. It was a huge lie, and I created it. I created the monster.
That is James Green, the first CEO, president, and first artist ever hired by the Lisa Frank Company in 1982. He is also responsible for the iconic logo. But it wasn't always romantic, then it turned romantic, and their love story is just a kind of love I hope never finds me.
How did the romance start?
I don't deal with that shit. I can tell you it was a bad business decision. That's about all I'll tell you.
So in part one, we had discussed that he was hired by the company in 1982 as their first artist, and then they promptly, within a few years, had fired the entire staff, then rehired an entire staff. But during this time, they spent a lot of time together. And when asked, how did this start? He was like, well, she pursued me, and, we just spent a lot of time together. We liked each other.
You love her.
Well, there was a time we probably were... There was some love involved, but the interest definitely came from her. It wasn't the kind of relationship that you people are normally used to. You're watching too many movies, I think, but this wasn't one of those movies. We were having a good time. We were working hard, and then we got married.
This is as good a time as any to bring up proximity attraction. Do you really like them, or are they just nearby a lot? And especially considering how much these people were working, it's not like they were probably doing a whole lot of else or seeing other people. Usually a bad idea to go to the bathroom where you eat. Now, I know that it works out sometimes it really doesn't, it's your dice to throw, I don't know. Now, the other interesting part about this is they're dating for all this time. The staff does not know. They just notice this strange kind of underlying tension that they can't really put their finger on a lot, but they chalk it up to he's very meticulous and likes to be in control, and so is she, so maybe that's where the tension was coming from.
I was 36, I had hesitations, but I don't know, I had a lot of pressures, from people to get married, so it just seemed like a good time to do it. There's a ring, of course, bigger than you can ever imagine.
Did you get down on a knee?
No, absolutely not. No, just not that type of guy.
Now they're engaged, and of course they're gonna have a wedding. And our dude, he's really not a big wedding kind of guy, if you couldn't notice by how lukewarm he was about the whole thing anyway. But you're marrying Lisa Frank. You're gonna have a big wedding. Her employees said, we have never been to a wedding that was that nice. She looked like a princess. She came in on a horse and carriage with a horse who really had to go to the bathroom and did for a while, and everyone's laughing. That was actually kind of funny. But she comes in, she's got this great big old dress with these roses that are all different colors, all kinds of roses up here, big veil, this whole thing. It was just a huge party.
The wedding was huge. It was like something out of Disneyland. It was way overblown.
What do you remember feeling during the wedding?
Drunk? No, I'm just had a good time,
As a wedding gift, Lisa had gifted him, I said the wrong thing, future editing me says, hi, 49% of her company. Now, that number tells you she did, in fact, know what she was doing, because it could have been 50%, and then it would have been half and half. But no, 49%, because that still left her as the 51% majority owner of the entire company. Now, shortly after the wedding, they decide that they want to have some kids. Or, I'm not sure who decided they wanted to have kids.
Were you excited when you knew you were going to be a father?
Well, not really. No, I wasn't planning on having kids. But, I was a good dad, mostly during the weekends. During the week, I didn't spend much time at home.
So at this point, once Lisa has kids, she pretty much dips out of the business, even though he says, he's like, I wish she would have come into the office. I kept asking her to come in, but she worked from home. And most of the employees who were working during that time had never even met her. This was all being run by James. That is until the very messy divorce. Now, this is where it's important to remember those numbers, because he is not a majority owner in the company, and Lisa actually wanted to sell the entire Lisa Frank business. But he still wanted a part of that because he was such a huge part in building it, understandably. That court battle ensued for years, which ended with him losing all of his shares in the company and all of it going back to Lisa. He was not even allowed back in the building to get his things. The catalyst for the divorce, allegedly from Lisa, was that James was having an affair with the HR manager, Rhonda, who we spoke about in part 1, the one who fired a bunch of people. A lot of the employees had also heard this rumor and said that it was a pretty common rumor, but Rhonda, who's been married 50 plus years, expressly denies these allegations, as does James, and Rhonda was let go too, and she was the one, if you remember, was working 7 days a week and now has a stress disorder she claims she got at this job.
I look back on my time at the company. It was a mistake. I wish I hadn't done it. I feel like what I worked for, it's just gone.
On top of division in employees, because they were demanded to take a side in this divorce, it also divided their children, which is heartbreaking. One only speaks to dad and one only speaks to mom. In the divorce, Lisa was ordered to buy him out of his shares, and he was no longer part of Lisa Frank. But even though I didn't love the way he phrased some things, it is clear that there was a very sharp downturn in business when he was no longer involved with the company, as well as all the lawsuits that came and a lot of stuff that just really wasn't cool that we're going to talk about in part 3. I'll see you there.